Hi, I'm going to start the research paper presentation at this time. Our title is The Effect of Grid Programs on Adolescents, Self-Efficacy, Future-Oriented, and Self-Directed Learning. Introduction. According to statistics from the Ministry of Education, 70,380 elementary, middle, and high school students have stopped studying due to academic maladjustment over past 5 years. Moreover, COVID-19 in 2020 has caused many students to be unable to persistently strive for academic achievement due to low anxiety in school life and internal motivation for learning. In addition, in Korea, adolescents often do not have the opportunity to discover their aptitude until they graduate from high school. In addition to deciding on a career path without a sufficient understanding of the professional world, there are cases where stress on studies increases and people give up and become frustrated, but they lack coping with it. One of the characteristics predicting successful academic achievement and school adaptation is grit. The course proposed grit, the concept of patience and passion for long-term goals, is a characteristic of people with moderate intelligence but high achievement. In other words, grit is the ability to achieve to the end what adolescents who are exposed to various problem situations and stress without giving up despite adversity or failure. Therefore, the positive effect of grit is that it is possible to persistently strive not only for high academic achievement, but also for goals set in the long-term future. Grit consists of two factors: persistence of effort and consistency of interest. Grit becomes an important factor that greatly affects students' academic achievement, as well as achievement in various fields. Those with high grit have a clear destination orientation and have a strong will to achieve their goals and enjoy challenges and consider failure as an opportunity to learn. Research questions. This study is to develop grit programs and verify their effectiveness. In order to achieve this research purpose, the following research questions were selected. First, is a grit program effective for self-efficacy? Second, is a grit program effective for intrinsic future-oriented goals? Third, is the grit program effective in self-directed learning ability? And then, theoretical background. First, understanding grit. Grit became popular when the course introduced it to the audience as an important predictor of future success during his 2013 lecture. The course stated that grit means continuous interest and steady effort to achieve long-term objectives. They questioned that learning achievements are different even though adolescents have the same intelligence from before and revealed the individual non-cognitive abilities are important in order to predict success after continuous research. In other words, influencing academic achievement includes not only cognitive factors such as long-term memory, processing speed, and cognitive ability, but also non-cognitive factors such as grit, growth mindset, and self-efficacy. In this way, grit has proven to be the most important factor in determining various other achievements and can lead to long-term effort in student academic achievement. The way 2010 defines interest as being obsessed with a specific object or activity. In addition, the characteristic of interest was that to be the intellectual thinking process necessary to realize the purpose. Therefore, since interest is related to the self, it is closely related to oneself, who wants to grow within the individual. Second, self-efficacy. Self-efficacy can be said to be confidence in one's ability. Self-efficacy is a concept proposed by Bandra, which refers to a belief in an individual's ability to successfully perform an action or activity, and is an evaluation of one's ability. In other words, self-efficacy is a belief in how much a specific action can be performed in a specific situation. In this way, self-efficacy is related to confidence in whether it is possible to act the cause result. Therefore, people with high self-efficacy have low levels of anxiety or depression by setting the level they can actually do. Believing in self-performance and using problem-oriented solution when stress situations arise. Third, future orientation. Future orientation has been studied in relation to utility value, future time perspective, and perception of task composition. Perception of task composition refers to the relationship between successfully completing the current task and reaching the long-term goal. From the perspective of future time, the perception of task composition is similar to the utility value mentioned in the expectation value theory. Future-oriented goals lead to the development of short-term goals, help establish relationships between the present and the future, and make them immersed in the current tasks they place meaning. In this way, the degree of assignment management may vary depending on how students set their future-oriented goals. Therefore, goal setting and goal-seeking processes may vary depending on how integrated the future is in the current life. This is because cognition, emotion, and behavior may change depending on the perspective of the past, present, and future. Fourth, self-directed learning skills. Self-directed learning ability is expanding into an integrated concept that encompasses not only cognition and motivation, but also learner behavior, and control and utilization of the learning environment. In other words, factors such as the use of cognitive strategies, control and regulation of motivation or emotion, self-action control through them, and effective use of various external learning resources are included in the category of self-regulated learning ability. Define self-directed learning as the behavior and process of choosing and controlling what, when, where, and why an individual learns, and how to master the knowledge and skills he or she aims for. Learners continue to participate in learning with self-direction, with passion and interest in learning. The ability to perform self-directed learning is a concept that integrally includes cognitive, affective, and behavioral areas that manage and evaluate the learning process related to knowledge and thinking. And then, the composition of the program. Based on the results of expert group validity suggestions and virtual implementation of the draft intervention program, this researcher developed the final draft of the use grid program by revising and supplementing the intervention provision time, intervention content, and operation plan. Programs for each session were organized over 50 minutes and 12 sessions focusing on use. The developed programs consist of 5 stages. First, the first step is process of understanding grid and helps to understand the overall description and process of the program. The second stage is to bring out cognitive changes. In developing grid understood in the previous session, it is process that becomes a search for oneself and includes a fixed way of thinking so far. The third stage requires a change in behavior to act as a grid. It helps repeated training by retraining one's own behavior, practicing and striving for goal plans. The fourth stage helps overcome barriers by removing obstacles that appear when moving toward the goal so that you can have grit for the rest of your life and gives you the inner strength to continue practicing with gratitude. Finally, the fifth stage consisted of finalizing by strengthening the determination of grit. Research method. The subject of this study recruited applicants who wanted to participate in the program on a first-come, first-served basis among middle and high school students. The content of the program were promoted through a notice, and 12 students who wanted to participate were selected on a first-come, first-served basis, and 12 students who did not want to participate in the program were selected as waiting control groups. Data analysis. In order to verify the effectiveness of the GRID program, the data collected in this study were analyzed using the window SPSS 21 program. The Krumbach value of the measurement tool was calculated to calculate the reliability coefficient between questions, and then frequency analysis was conducted to find out the distribution of respondents. Result: self-efficacy. To verify the effectiveness of the grid program, the mean and standard deviation of student self-efficacy. Self-regulated learning efficacy, self-regulated efficacy, career disease efficacy, and difficulty overcoming efficacy are divided into groups: experiment control and measurement timing, pre, post, later, and intrinsic future-oriented goals. To verify the effectiveness of the grid program, the mean and standard deviation of student intrinsic future-oriented goals, individual growth-oriented goals, relationship-oriented goals, and community-oriented goals are divided into groups: experiment control and measurement times. Also, pre, post, later. Finally, conclusion. In this study, the existing grid program and the program development procedure of Kim Chang-dae were first explored to discover the theoretical background and the advantages of the program, and the program was integrated by correcting and supplementing the shortcomings. The purpose of this study is to develop a new program that intervenes and applies the strategic aspect of grid that present elasticity that allows teenagers to understand and train methods for grid so that they can live an effective life through grid. First, in this study, it was found that the grid program had a significant effect on improving the self-efficacy of the adolescent. This can be said to be effective in developing grid with confidence by enhancing optimism, rational thinking, and converting one's shortcomings into strengths through rational thinking. Second, in this study, it was found that the grid program had an effect on improving the intrinsic future-oriented goals of adolescents. This can be seen as effective in the youth. Grid program developed in this study in having the inner power to respond flexibly to stress and achieve its goals objectively, and future-oriented with patience, passion, and interest, with gratitude and repetitive training toward vision. Third, in this study, it was found that the grid program had an effect on the improvement of adolescents' self-directed learning ability. This can be seen as effective in fostering the ability and attitude of youth grid programs developed in this study to discover their interest and internal resources, set intermediate goals and sub-goals, systematically persevere, and continue training for self-control in detailed plans. While reviewing the limitation of this study, I would like to make suggestions for future follow-up studies. First, in this study, it was not possible to subdivide and examine how patience and passion, which are factors of grit, relate to academic adaptation. In previous studies, there are studies showing that the influence of the two factors on academic adaptation is different. Second, in this study, only students in the school were targeted, but it seems that comparative studies with various types of adolescents, such as adolescents outside the school, are also needed. Thank you.